November. And if you're looking to also, for example, take advantage of things such as a Black Friday, a Thanksgiving season, the ones that come to my head right now. Yeah.
Yeah, 100% makes sense. So yeah, you talked about the listing optimization. I think that is a must have, and I
Have
100%.
that big banner, the green banner that say 40%
Mhm.
off, and that is a big conversion trigger. I mean, you need to understand that if somebody's shopping for a product, and let's say they are comparing a product that has 500 reviews to yours,
Hello everyone, welcome. Today I have Vincenzo from Ecoms, and today we are going to talk a lot about Amazon advertising. Hi Vincenzo, how are you?
I'm doing great, Sammy. Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming. And Vincenzo, can you just do a quick introduction for the people who don't know you?
Sure. So yeah, my name is Vincenzo. I'm the founder and CEO of Ecomcy. We're a full Amazon brand management agency. We are located here in London, UK, and we basically specialize with everything that has to do with basically scaling and growing brands on Amazon. So we have with PPC, listing optimization, launch strategies, photography, basically everything that you need to succeed on Amazon. We got it. So yeah, that's it in a nutshell.
Wow, that is great. That is great. So, Vincenzo, since we are already in Q4 and the sales are going to start, and what I mean, you are looking at a lot of data from your clients.
Yeah.
So, what two tips would you like to share to the brand owners that are going to enter the sales season?
Sure. I mean, I think the number one tip that you need to for sure deal down is inventory management. I think so many people get this wrong in Q4. A lot of people under order the amount of units they should send into Amazon. They're left without any inventory and then they miss on sales, right? So I think number one tip, make sure you understand what are the dates when it comes to sending inventory into Q4. So, for example, if you're looking to have your inventory by Christmas, you should have your inventory within Amazon the latest last week of November. And if you're looking to also, for example, take advantage of things such as a Black Friday, a Thanksgiving season, then you should have also your inventory most likely by the end of October as a latest. So I think keep those ranges in mind. It's a big tip because we see so many clients sometimes
Yeah.
coming to us when they want to join our agency. And most of the time, the reason why they underperformed last year in Q4 is because they didn't plan the inventory in advance. So make sure you analyze last year, you analyze the amount of units you are selling. You can also even analyze your competition and try to make a forecast, which there are many tools out there that can help you do the forecasting, calculating sales velocity and all of that, so you can understand how much inventory you should have on Amazon. And most likely I would always advise to also have something on a triple L, so in case you run out of FBA, you can also continue doing the FBM way to continue the sales going on the list. Yeah. So that would be my first advice, a tip. And I think the second tip for sure is make sure you get your listings fully optimized and ready for Q4. And I would advise to do all the changes that you're looking to do for Q4, like when it comes to images, listings, and everything. The latest, I would say, also by October. And the reason why I say this is because a big mistake I have always seen in Q4 is a lot of people, they, let's say, last week of November or first week of December, they want to make those last changes on the listing. And sometimes, when we're making changes, if you don't use the right keyword, so you put a prohibited keyword or a prohibited image or something like that, that can suppress your listing, that can basically give us suspend the whole operation for you on Amazon, and you have to reinstate the listing or you have to do some changes. And that's why you want to have some window to fix it if that happens, right? So I would say all the optimization when it comes to a listing, make sure you do it by latest towards the end of October, because you want to avoid making those changes the first week of December, and then you get your listing suspended for 2 weeks, which we know Amazon takes sometimes
Yeah.
a lot of time to reinstate listings if you do something that basically gets suspended, and you're gonna miss on a lot of sales. So those are usually the biggest tips I can give, which I have many more, but those are the ones that come to my head right now. Yeah.
Yeah, 100% makes sense. So yeah, you talked about the listing optimization. I think that is a must have, and I 100% agree with you. What we also suggest our clients is the thing that you also told, that optimizing the keywords. We also start optimizing from now with holiday keywords.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
I think uh, we generally remove the search terms that are already indexed in the first page and try to remove those, replace it with new ones. uh, so that is what I think is one of the main tip that you have shared about listing optimization. And in terms of like what we see is generally before a few days of the actual sales starts, the traffic and the conversion drops, whereas the clicks remains there in the ads. So sellers gets confused about structuring their budgeting before the sales and after the sales. I'm sure that you are talking a lot about this with your clients as well. So how do you suggest on this? What should be our budgeting structure before sales and after sales?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when it comes, usually when you start entering into the strong season, which is usually mid-November all the way to December, those are usually the strongest weeks when it comes to spending on PPC. You're gonna see a lot of window shopping, right? You're gonna see a lot of people clicking on ads and just basically comparing your listings against other competitors, and that's why you're gonna see your conversions drop because during this season, people usually do a more comparison than normal because they're comparing which product has the best pricing, maybe which gift I'm gonna give to my mom, to my son. So they're exploring all around Amazon, and that's why you're gonna see that conversion drop because sometimes during this season specifically the purchase intent can get a lower compared to the traffic because people is just basically doing research before doing the actual purchase. So that's totally normal. I think the way to compensate this and to make sure you don't overspend or over the basically this strong season in the holiday season Q4, I would advise you to make sure you identify beforehand which are your top keywords when it comes to bringing the biggest amount of sales and also the biggest amount of traffic, and you have the best conversions, right? Usually during these 2 months, which is November and December, you want to stop anything that has to do to exploratory campaigns. So usually if you had a lot of automatic campaigns, broad match, phrase match, usually those campaigns we try to deal them down during this period because we want to make sure that we focus all our budget to what the data has basically validated for us that's been working, which is usually exact match campaign, top placement campaigns, and basically a type of placements that we know for sure is going exactly on what the data is telling us that is working. So you can for sure keep some exploratory campaigns, but I would say definitely try to divert the budget as much as possible to the keywords that have performed the best for you and control those top placement where you know you're dominant. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I was talking the other day with the Brian Johnson from Canopy Management. I mean, he was also suggesting the same thing that we shouldn't try any new
Yeah.
experiments with campaigns
Yeah.
during this time period.
It's the worst thing
So
because the cost per click during that period is the highest, and if you're trying to find new keywords or campaigns during that period, you're gonna get burned.
yeah,
Yeah.
totally agree on that. I think what we can also do is what we recently started, because previously display ads was there, and now display ads have a lot of insights
Mhm.
that we can get from Amazon. So we make sure that we create campaigns separately for 7 days retargeting. I mean, look back 7 days is set there, and look back 14 days in separate ways, so that the budget goes distributed along with that 7 days whoever have visited. And if we just set it back for like let's assume look back 60 days or 30 days, then it will distribute on all the people, and it might happen the impression per customer may be very less. So that is the only reason we make sure there's a campaign set, because window shoppers comes and they just clicks and
Hmm.
go back just because they're waiting for the sales to come. So I
Yeah.
think those campaigns needs to be set there.
Yeah.
And also I've been looking at your past few videos and podcast, and looking at you are more into setting up defense campaigns during this season to
Yeah.
protect your brands against because every seller is going to put their bids high, right? So
Yeah.
would you like to share some tips on that, brand
Yeah, for
defense
sure.
campaigns?
Yeah, 100%. I think before we jump into the defense campaign, I would like to add something
Yeah.
into sponsor display, which is something very important that you mentioned there. And I think sponsor display, if you know how to use it during Q4, it can be super powerful, especially if you use the look back windows, the 15 and 30 days, because basically what you can do is that you can retarget those window shoppers, right? Let's say they start a person that's looking for a toy, as an example. They start looking for toys for the kids at the beginning of November, right? So maybe they start exploring, but realistically, they're not gonna buy in November. They're gonna buy in December
Yeah.
when they have done enough research. So what you can easily do is in the first week of December, you can run a retargeting campaign where you basically target all the people that have seen the advertised product, which is your product, and similar products. So that is one strategy. You can also do retargeting based in campaigns, also on product pages details. So I mean, sponsor display is super powerful, and if you use the data before Q4 to then find that audience again and retarget as close as possible to their intent, we have found it brings a lot of good results for us. So that's for sponsor display. Now, for defense campaign, which is what you're mentioning. Totally. I mean, when it comes to all the brands that we manage, most of them, if not all of them, have some kind of defensive strategy. And defensive strategy, for all of those that might not know, basically means defending everything that has to do with the placement within your product details pages and within your branded search terms, right? So if you, for example, you're selling a water bottle, right? And let's say the brand of for the water bottle is hiking, just to make an example. So you want to make sure that the phrase hiking water bottle, which is your brand, and the generic keyword is protected by your own ads, right? Because if
Hmm.
people find out, especially the competition, start finding out that people prefer the brand hiking when it comes to finding bottles, competition is going to start targeting those keywords out as well. And
Yeah.
then if they have a much competitive pricing, or maybe their bottle is more shiny, or has an extra feature that yours doesn't have, they can start stealing sales from you. So you want to make sure you control all those branded terms. And the same within your product details pages. I mean, a big mistake I see a lot is and that actually comes down to when you see a big drop in conversions. A lot of people, clients come to us and say, I haven't done a big exchange when it comes to listing of campaigns, but have seen a massive drop when it comes to my conversions. And then when we go inside the listings, we see that they left wide open the sponsor product basically window within the reviews. So there are competition advertising there. They left the slot for sponsor display under the buy box open. So all these slots, if you leave them open, competition can start advertising there. And if they have a good pricing and product that can basically steal sales from you, they're gonna do it. And that's why sometimes you see not doing any major change in your account, but conversion dropping massively because you didn't have a defensive structure in place, and those placements were stealing the traffic that you're paying for that traffic in the first place.
Yeah.
So make sure you have those placement controlled by your own products, especially if you have a brand that has multiple products, right? Let's say you have a sports brand, right? And within that sports brand, you're selling a water bottle, you're selling pants for the gym, shirts, equipment, gloves, all of that. You can start cross-selling them and advertising them between them, so you create that halo branding effect within all the listings and avoid other competitors stealing the traffic and sales from you.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense totally. So when it comes to sales, what do you think? How much important is deals and coupons are, and why? Like, how should a seller actually use it properly?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to, for example, if you're launching a product for the first time or is very new to the market, something that's been working very good for us is being very aggressive with coupons. Like we run sometimes 40% coupons. And the reason why it's been working so good for us is because, first of all, what we try to do with the 40% coupon is have that big banner, the green banner that says 40%
Hmm.
off, and that is a big conversion trigger. I mean, you need to understand that if somebody's shopping for a product, and let's say they are comparing a product that has 500 reviews to yours, okay, yours maybe has just 10 reviews, but you had the 40% thing popping up. You're gonna get a lot of free clicks and conversions, and this is basically a replacement to what people used to do with the rebate method. You're trying to give a steep discount when it comes to coupons, and the nice thing of coupons, which I bet you also know, most people don't even redeem it because you need to go on the
Yeah,
listing and you need to click on
click
add the
that.
coupon. So we found on average just 50-60% of people use it. So sometimes we get free traffic, and people not actually using the 40 or 30% high discount. So that is one strategy we definitely use. And then also, if you're thinking about other strategies around pricing and promotions, you can also use
Hmm.
the sell pricing, right? So let's say you've always been selling for a very long period of time at $30. and you try to drop the price to, let's say, $20, with the sell price like within a window of 1 week, usually when the percentage is significantly higher compared to your average history of pricing, you're gonna get that red also banner saying a 10% off, 20% off. Which again, this one is not gonna be forever like the coupon, because over time, if you keep the sell price forever, Amazon is gonna find out that it's not anymore a promotion. They're gonna remove it. But
Yeah.
that's something that you can definitely do during Q4, because if your price was $30 from January all the way to October and you do it just for 2 months, I mean, that's a massive drop in pricing that is gonna also add that extra banner under your listing, and that helps with conversions a lot. So we try to use those two. And then for sure you can add some extra formula in here, like the lighting deals
Mhm.
or a prime exclusive deals. There's also ways to combine all of those as well. Mhm.
Yeah, and you said about coupons. So, do you think percentage of or amount of which one is more converting or which one grabs more attention?
So usually what we have found is that depends on the pricing of your product, right? So let's say you're selling a
Hmm.
$10 product. If the
Yeah.
coupon is just $2, it doesn't look as nice as 20%, right?
Yeah.
So in that case, we use percentage. But if the price is very high, like let's say $100, then
Hmm.
for sure we're gonna use the dollar amount, because 20% it doesn't look as nice as $20. So
Yeah.
you see what I mean? So it depending on the price, that's usually how we structure how the promotion is represented.
Okay. So that is good. I mean, all of those hype is happening with AMC, and then let's talk about Amazon DSP. How is your
Yeah.
experience with it?
Yeah, I mean, Amazon DSP, to be honest, is for brands that usually have a bigger budget, because usually you need to take in consideration
Hmm.
that you're gonna need to spend much more. I mean, most brands, I would say, if you're not spending at least 15-20K per month when it comes to advertising, usually DSP is not gonna really move the needle for you. And if you're actually trying to find some kind of solution to replace that void that you're gonna have by not using DSP when you're smaller, I would definitely use a sponsor display, because sponsor display is like the stepping stone between reaching DSP, right? DSP is like
Yeah.
the parent of all the offsite Amazon advertising, but you can nowadays start reaching some similar performance with a sponsor display. I mean, it's not 100% there yet, but a lot of the features that you're seeing sponsor display trying to provide nowadays to the normal seller
Mhm.
central are very similar. So I just see this getting better and better. And to be honest, I see down the line sponsor DSP kind of disappearing, and everything coming into sponsor display more down the line. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that completely makes sense. So, your agency is completely virtually operated, or how is it?
Yeah, so all our team is basically virtual. So in terms of they're located all around the globe. So we got people in Latin America, people in USA, people in Europe, and people in Asia. So the nice thing of that is that first of all, that allows to work in multiple languages. Second of all, we're able to work with people in different time zones. And yes, at the same time, we're very flexible when it comes to meetings and everything because of that. So that helps
Okay.
a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So at what point do you think a brand should approach our agency? I mean, hire an agency.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, when it comes to working with an agency, if I'm honest with you, I would say that if you're not making, I would say at least 10,000 in revenue per month, so that means you're already touching the six figures. Usually agencies might not be the right thing for you, and I'm gonna tell you the reason for that. Because at the beginning, the first thing that you want to do is first understand the basics, right? You want to understand at least how optimized listing works, how PPC works, how inventory management works. I mean, you don't need to be an expert, but understand the basics.
Yeah.
Because if from day one you hire an agency, you're not gonna know if they're doing the right work or not. You don't know if they're lying to you. You don't know if everything they're basically doing for your brand is the right thing, because you don't have a basic understanding. So that's why I rather advise everybody that's starting into the Amazon space that before you jump into an agency, you do the learning curve. You understand the basics. You start at least reaching that revenue of $10,000 per month, and then once you reach that level, I would say agency is the right path for you, because you need to consider that an agency Usually you're looking between the $1,000 and $3,000 per month mark,
Hmm.
and if you're not generating enough revenue, you're gonna struggle to make it profitable for you. So usually agencies are there once you reach that level of maturity that you basically can't scale anymore your business on your own, and you need a team of professionals to come in and help you get it there.
Yeah, totally agree on that. So, can you just give us a little bit idea on how your client onboarding process looks like? How many team members do you allot to each client? How does it looks like?
Sure. When it comes to onboarding, I mean, the first thing that we do is we do an audit. And we
Hmm.
are very strict when it comes to working with people. I would say that maybe 60, 70% of the time, we end up not working with the client, not because we cannot help them, it's more because they are not at the right stage, or because we just
Okay.
tell them honestly, maybe that's not the right product, and the thing we're going to do for you is not going to add any value. So we want to make sure that the people that we accept, realistically, we can actually do something for them, and we find out
Hmm.
they're doing something wrong, and we can fix it. That's the first thing you do. You go through an audit. If we identify that you are the right client for us, then we propose basically what are the things that we're going to be doing for you. We identify the things. We even do a full reporting for you, which if you want to walk away after that, you can do it, no commitment. But we tell you on that report before starting working with you what are the things that you're doing wrong and what are the things we're going to fix. Once that is done, then you are assigned to a brand manager, and usually this brand manager is going to be responsible for everything that has to do with your brand. He's going to be in charge of basically making sure we are keeping track of your KPIs, you are reaching your goals. He's going to be there 24/7. You're even going to get a private channel with him in terms of Slack. And also when it comes to team members, I mean, we got a big team in terms of in the different division: pro listing, Amazon PPC, photographers, everything that has to do with all the sections. So the brand manager is going to be responsible that whenever an issue is recent within your brand, he's going to have the contact, and he's basically going to report that to the PPC manager, your copywriter manager, your photographer. So he's going to be basically the head of that corporation, basically driving your brand forward. And then at the same time, as a last thing, you get with us, you also get access to a software. So basically we have partnership with some software solutions, so you're gonna get a dashboard where you can see all the metrics, the things that we're doing within your brand, and basically you're gonna have full transparency on everything that's going on within your brand. Other than that, yeah, I think that's it. I think the thing, to be honest, that makes us very unique is our level of customer service. I mean, because you get full access to all our team 24/7, there's always gonna be somebody like you. It's not like you're gonna send an email, you need to wait a couple of hours, just like chatting WhatsApp with us. So we're always there for you. We're gonna make sure that always give you the biggest amount of attention and support that you need to succeed on Amazon.
Yeah, I mean, I can't agree more on that. Especially because, I mean, when you started the agency, there was a lot of problems, I'm sure on that. Even we have come up with a lot of problems.
Yeah,
And if I just give an example of us, when we started, I mean, it was chaotic, a lot of things, unorganized. Now we have come up with that, okay, this is a problem, we need to fix this. So let's have someone that can solve it. Now, when we take a client, we start with the lead strategies that gets the account access. Then we assign a brand manager. I
yeah,
know that catalog problem is a very important in terms of
I
Amazon.
know. It's a headache.
So we yeah, so we assign each account with a catalog troubleshooter and a designer, because designing work will always be there with display ads, custom images. So there's a few people that we assign to now. We identified these problems that yes, this is a common problem every client is facing, so let's have them there. So that is how we structured. Now I would like to know about what was your experience when you started this agency, what was the
Yeah.
problems you are facing, and how it is
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, I mean, when getting started, it was tough because at the beginning, I mean, you're always the one doing everything up to the point that then you need to scale and build your team. But the beginning was definitely tough. I mean, because at the beginning, I mean, you're starting from zero. Nobody knows you. You need to build your processes. You need to build everything from the ground up. and it was very challenging for us. But at the same time, I think it's been a very nice journey for me, because during that journey, for sure, I made mistakes. For sure, I made things that made me grow as an individual and as the business as a whole. And I think that is what allowed me to then scale the team forward, because then with all experiences I learned through the initial months that I was on my own, that allowed me to transfer all those experiences in terms of mistakes and things that I did to succeed, so they don't basically do the same mistakes, and they I can actually implement the things that work for me at the beginning. And that is what actually has allowed us to grow that fast, because we are always very transparent. If we do something wrong, we own it. We always try to be there and be on top of all the strategies, and to be honest, give our best when it comes to help you scale your brand on Amazon. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the frame that is on the left side of you, that mindset frame that tells a lot. Okay,
Yeah.
so
There was me the first few months, that was the fish, and then I put the shark thing on top.
okay, yeah,
Yeah.
totally agree on that. So, Vincent, since we're coming to an end, so where can people follow you?
Yeah, I mean, you can find me all social media as Vincenzo Toscano. I'm very active on all the social media channels. You can also find the agency profile Ecomcy. And when it comes to value for your audience, I mean, we are providing 30 minutes free consultation for everybody that join through our website. You go to our website and you can book a 30-minute free consultation. And on top of that, if you reach out to us and you use the code SAMI10, we're gonna be more than happy to give you 10%
Yeah,
on whichever
I will
service.
attach the link below. So, Vincenzo, thank you so much for sharing such valuable knowledge to us.
It's
Okay, I
a
mean, with
pleasure.
Q4 near, it is going to be a lot more valuable for the brand sellers who are watching this right now. Thank you
Yeah,
so much for coming.
it's a pleasure. Thank you very
Okay.
much. And for everybody watching, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. I'm gonna make sure to check them personally and also answer your questions there. Okay. So thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Joe. Okay.